The Supreme Court has denied the bail plea of Manish Sisodia. We'll bring you more context on these developments. Remember, this is the Liquorgate case. It's a case we've been seeing play out for a few years now. The developments we're talking about, though, taking place post-February this year itself. Manish Sisodia, remember, was the Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi at the time. He was also responsible for 18 different portfolios. My colleague, our legal correspondent, Ananya Bhatnagar, brings us more details on this. Ananya, can you share with us details from the observations? Can you tell us what are the key reasons that the Supreme Court has pointed to for denying bail, especially after asking such tough questions of investigative agencies in the last few days?
Well, definitely, the Supreme Court had posed some tough questions to, in fact, Manish Sisodia, in fact, to the Enforcement Directorate and the Central Bureau of Investigation, who was actually appearing for, Mr. ASG SV Raju was appearing for both these agencies. But at the end of it today, the Supreme Court has felt that, there is the rule of law is same for everybody. Exactly, this is what the Supreme Court has said, and very, very clearly denied bail to Manish Sisodia in this particular case, noting that tentatively 338 crore rupees of a money trail cannot be denied of, and exactly that has to be judged at the time of trial, and that's the reason why the Supreme Court has not dwelled into the reasoning much of it, because it might affect the trial in this particular case, and that's exactly why the Supreme Court has denied him bail, but has given a very, very clear observation that if at all the trial does not complete in 6 to 8 months, as the agencies are, contemplating, the Manish Sisodia would then have an option to approach, in fact, the courts again to seek a bail alleging delay of trial. But will that happen or not is something that we'll have to wait and watch for. But definitely, this is a big setback that has come in for Manish Sisodia in this particular case. In fact, the political war of words has also already broken out on this, where the BJP is now questioning the Aam Aadmi Party's intent, because the Aam Aadmi Party had been constantly claiming since the very beginning that, this is all a sham political vendetta that is happening. But now even the Supreme Court of India has turned down their, petition for bail in this particular case. So definitely a big setback coming in for the former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister. Toya.
Okay, Ananya, can I actually ask you to stay with us? Anusha's also with us right now, and I believe she actually has the order copy with her. We'll go over to her for more context. Anusha, can you shed light on the order copy? Can you also tell us, the BJP has been on our show, they are making the accusation again and again that what the Supreme Court has said does implicate Manish Sisodia. When you look at the order copy, is that the correct observation to make?
All right. So let me break it down for you, Toya. Number one, whenever we look at PMLA offences and the fact and the discretion that the court has to exercise whether a bail should be granted or not, there's one fundamental question that the court has to answer. Prima facie, has an offence been established? And if the offence has been established prima facie, then the threshold of granting a bail is very, very high. The chances are you will not get the bail. So when you go through this order copy, what one has to really figure out is that the arguments that have been made by the CBI in the charge sheet, in that elaborate charge sheet that was filed, have those arguments found merit with the Supreme Court or not? Now let me take you through the order. Let's look at this part of the order. There are certain points which the court quotes verbatim from the charge sheet, and these are various points about the illegal income that was done. Then this part. For the sake of clarity, without making any addition or subtractions, a detailed analysis, we would like to recapitulate what is stated in the charge sheet filed by the CBI. So these portions in the next 3 pages are verbatim of what was in the CBI charge sheet. Now this is the point that I want our viewers to focus on. The excess amount of about 338 crore rupees is something that the court is talking about, and this particular amount is something that the court believes is the alleged kickbacks. The excess amount of 70% commission fee earned by the wholesale distributors is something that can constitute as an offence. This is not something that the court is saying. The court is arguing that this was said in the charge sheet, and they accept this submission that this prima facie has been established so far in the investigation, and there is ground and merit for the investigation agencies to go forward. Now, what is the reason that the court has said that after 6 months you can come back and ask for bail? Because sometimes the process of trial takes a very long time and you cannot be in incarceration. The benchmark of getting a bail under PMLA is very difficult. Prima facie, the agency has been able to convince the Supreme Court that they have a solid case to move forward. So that political argument that you were talking about does have some merit and substance. It's not a bogus case as the Aam Aadmi Party had said earlier.
Okay, so Anusha, if I had to ask you, does the fact that the trail has been found, it has been established, does that implicate Sisodia? How would you answer that?
If you ask me that has the court said that the trail has been found, the answer is no. It is one thing for the Supreme Court to come to a conclusion that the trail has been found. That's a pronouncement on the guilt or on the acquittal of a person. For a court to accept the argument of an agency and say, all right, what you're saying sounds reasonable, go ahead and investigate, that's a different thing altogether. It's the latter part what the court has done right now. It has heard the CBI, it has questioned the Enforcement Directorate on various accounts, and after that questioning, the court is of the conclusion that yes, you have a case to investigate, and that particular trail is something that the agency wants to establish. That's the part, Toya, that you're talking about. The excess amount of 7% commission fee. This 338 crore rupees is spoken of 2 times in this bail order, and this is the important part. It constitutes as an offence, but this is apart from the CBI charge sheet. The court is merely accepting this. Look at para 25. In view of the aforesaid discussion, for the reasons stated, we are not inclined to accept the prayer for the grant of the... So these arguments of the CBI prima facie has been accepted as a good case to investigate. The guilt has not been established so far, and that's an important distinction that we need to draw.
Okay, thank you for shedding light on that. Our colleague Ananya Bhatnagar is also with us right now. He's our legal correspondent. Ananya, can you tell us the legal options left in front of the former Deputy Chief Minister?
Well, definitely at this point of time, Manish Sisodia for next few months has to stay inside the jail unless and until there is some kind of a change in circumstance, if at all. There is something that changes. There is something that Manish Sisodia brings to light to show that, he is not guilty in this particular case, as because the presumption of doubt in, PMLA comes to the accused itself, because Section 45 of the PMLA is one of the very, very stringent grounds when it comes to seeking a bail in this particular case. And if at all they find something, Manish Sisodia found something that can breach that 45 PMLA condition, that can surpass that, then only can, Manish Sisodia approach for a bail in this particular case again. But a very, very clear option that the Supreme Court has also given Manish Sisodia is that if at all the trial, which is to conclude in the next 6 to 8 months, does not concludes, then Manish Sisodia can come back to the court saying that, there is a delay in the trial. And that's exactly the only option now left with Manish Sisodia in this particular case. So how much of it does it play up, whether or not there would be a new ground for Manish Sisodia to seek bail or not, that is something that we'll have to wait and watch for. But at this point of time, no relief as such here is available for Manish Sisodia in this particular case, because the bail has now been rejected by the topmost court of the country as well.
Thank you for that context. Let's play out now different reactions to this story. One of the most important portfolios the former Deputy Chief Minister held was that of education. The Delhi Minister of Education now, Atishi, speaks on this issue. Take a look.